is John Young with the Weekend Handyman. Today we are looking at a really cool decking system. And I've got Kevin McMillan here from DuraDeck. Good afternoon, Kevin.
Good afternoon, John. How are you?
I am doing well, doing very, very well. This is an incredible product. I've been doing some research on this and looking at different applications which you guys are using the DuraDeck, and this is really impressive. Kind of tell us a little bit about the DuraDeck. Let's do the little small snippet, and then we'll go into the more in depth and looking at the whole process.
Okay. Well, the simple explanation of what DuraDeck is, it's a walkable roofing membrane. So it takes care of your waterproofing needs, your roofing membrane needs, and your walking surface all at the same time in a single ply sheet good. So it comes on rolls. It's about 6 feet wide, 75 feet long. It's fully adhered like any other roofing membrane would be. But the beauty of it is that when you're finished adhering it is fully complete as your roofing surface and your walking surface.
Sure. So as a roofing surface, it can be used in a variety of different applications. Like I was looking online, and you're using it like even above like an entry area. I've noticed a couple of them where it was used up like on a deck above an entry.
Yeah, it can be used in many applications. Any place where you want to protect the area below or protect the structure that you're going to be walking on. So it can be used for balconies, carports, rooftop decks, decks over living space, any scenario like that where you actually want to protect the area below for storage or what have you, even living space.
Nice, very nice, very nice. Now the material is what would it be considered? Kind of a it looks like kind of like a vinyl type product. Would that be a fair assessment? Yes,
it is. It's a PVC, polyvinyl chloride. It's very similar for the folks that for the simple explanation that it's much like the linoleum inside your home, but it's intended for the outside. So it's been designed. It has characteristics that will preserve it in exterior scenarios where you've got UVs, lots of heat or lots of cold, airborne pollutants, mildew, mold, that sort of thing. So it has been specifically designed to be outside, although some people do use it in an inside application in carports and in rooms that like a wine cellar or someplace like that. Rooms where it's not your typical kitchen area, but it's just going to be like a laundry room. Sure. Or an inside shower.
Like a three-season porch, something like that would be ideal.
Absolutely, yes, correct.
Nice, very nice. Well, let's take a look. I've got a lot of questions about it, but I think that our viewers who are watching this are kind of wanting to see. They're going to want to see the process. So let's take a look at the display. I see you have a display set up right there. Let's kind of zoom in on that, and you can kind of walk us through the whole process.
Okay, so what we have here is we've got a mock-up of some typical details that you would find on a deck. Now, these details that we're showing here are actually roofing details. So what we have is a seam, because we have material that's in sheet goods. Any place where you have a deck that's over 6 feet wide or an area that's over 6 by 6, we have to seam those two pieces together. With that, we overlap those two pieces by 3/4 of an inch and hot air weld them. The material is also malleable enough or supple enough that it can self-cove at the transition from the deck to the wall. So we have the material self-flashing up the wall. When it goes in through a door area, like a sill or a threshold, we actually have to relieve the material to take it in, and then we cut a patch out of a piece of the same material, apply it to the jamb, and then hot air weld it with the 3/4 inch overlap.
Kevin, let's talk about that hot air welding before we go too much farther, please. Now that process, when you're using the hot air welding, and I saw a video where you had a installer doing that, how durable is that weld?
That weld, the beauty of PVC is when you do melt it to a molten point, is you don't change its chemical makeup. So when what that hot air welder does is it melts the top of the bottom sheet and the bottom of the top sheet, and then what we do is we go over top of it with a rubber roller. That rubber roller mashes those two molten surfaces together. So what you end up with is just a double thickness of the PVC at that point. So it's very durable. That seam will never come apart. One of the reasons that we do overlap it like that is because the material will expand and contract with the substrate, and if we were to try to butt seam the joints to make it look seamless, to make it look too monolithic, those joints will open up and obviously will no longer be a waterproof system.
Right.
So we deal with the waterproofing first and foremost, and over the 40 years that we've been doing this, that has been a method that we've been doing for about 35 years. And just because that is a very typical roofing detail, it's nearly impossible to butt seam those two joints and have it waterproof.
But yeah, that sounds great. So that seam now is just as strong as the rest of the material.
Correct. And it's all fully adhered with adhesive down to the substrate. Whether the substrate is concrete or plywood, it's all fully adhered with glue down on top of that substrate. So it will not move very much on top of the substrate, but where that seam is, it will move even less.
Sure. Okay. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. So I wanted to touch base because that was certainly a question I had as I was watching it. How those seams work. You mentioned the substrate. How does a person, or how does that get applied then to that substrate?
Well, it's the way the installation process would have the material be dry fit onto the deck surface, whether it's a concrete deck or a plywood deck, which have you. It'd be dry fit onto the surface, and then what we would do is we would flip the material open. So we're looking at the back side of the material. We put contact glue on the substrate and on the back side of the material, and then we push that material into the substrate. That's how we fully adhere it. Everything would be done except for the seams. When we're finished laying out the full deck, we'd come back and hot air weld the seams.
Nice. Now, in your display, is that a drain that I'm seeing in the display?
Yes, this is a drain. So what we're trying to show here is we end up with many different scenarios in a deck. Some decks will just have the water being shed off the end of it, and it will have a drip flashing and maybe a gutter system to collect the water. If the deck is a trap deck or a pan deck, it will have a drain in it. What we're trying to show here is that our material can cove down inside the bowl of that drain and then have a compression ring and a grate come on top of that. The reason we show this is because we still want to let the consumer know that we're dealing with waterproofing details first and foremost. We try to make it look as attractive as we can, but the first thing that we concentrate on is the waterproofing. So we have a drain system that has been designed specifically for this. It's an exterior drain and not an interior PVC drain, so it can withstand the elements, the cold and the heat and all the moisture that it's going to have to collect.
Very nice, very nice. And of course, you mentioned that it kind of coves down into that, so it basically takes the shape of the slant of the roof or the deck.
That's correct. Yes.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay, so now take us to the left. Now, what are we seeing to the left on the video there a little bit more?
Right here.
Yeah.
So what we're looking at right here is we have another system called Tile Deck. The difference between Tile Deck and DuraDeck has a print and a texture on top of it. Tile Deck has a textile laminated to the top of it. The purpose of Tile Deck is a waterproofing membrane that tile can go on top of. Now the textile that's laminated to the top of the Tile Deck actually gives the thin set something to bond onto. Again, what we're worried about here is the waterproofing. So we still have all the same waterproofing details that we would have with DuraDeck. At the end, it's not going to be visible because your thin set and your tile is going to be on top of it. But that is the Tile Deck system.
No, nice, very good, very good. So now you mentioned, of course, with the that's obviously kind of a white, but with the DuraDeck system, there are many different color options with that.
Yes, the DuraDeck system has. I'm just going to show it here. The DuraDeck system has over 20 colors. I'm not sure if you can get a full complement of what those colors might look like from here, but this is all available on our website, the different colors that you can choose from. But we have chosen to supply somewhere around 20 to 24 colors so that designers and architects can implement these different color schemes into their building colors.
So Kevin, now we were talking about that hot air welding system. Now that sounds like a pretty in-depth tool. Kind of, what's all involved with that process?
Well, the hot air welder is a specialized tool. It's a roofing tool. But typically, it's not going to be a tool that you can go and rent at your local tool rental house. Roofers use this tool quite a bit. It doesn't blow an open flame. It is actually hot air, and it is at about 500 degrees Fahrenheit. The reason that we talk about our product not being a do-it-yourself product, the reason is that most guys people can handle a skill saw, they can handle a cordless drill because those tools are readily available to them. They grow up with them and feel comfortable with them. With a hot air welder, when you're welding a seam, it takes about 2.5 seconds to weld it and about 3 seconds to burn through it. So it's not as though you have a whole bunch of time to train with it. You can buy yourself $1,000 worth of product and turn it useless just by burning a couple holes in it, because then your waterproofing system obviously has holes in it. So that's why we talk about it not being a do-it-yourself system.
Sure.
Now, we do offer training programs for those folks that are interested in getting trained up to do this. We just we have chosen to go to market as a supply and install product to those trained professionals. Ideally, the skill sets that we're looking for are going to be a roofing skill set or a floor laying skill set. And what I mean by that is we would like to take a roofer and just tune up his finer details a little bit more, because this is an aesthetic product. This is what you're going to be looking at on your deck for quite some time. And with a floor layer, we sort of tune his skill set down a little bit, because the floor doesn't have to be absolutely perfect like a pool table. This is an exterior deck. You are dealing with plywood and seams and so on. We address all of those and try to make it monolithic. But at the end of the day, we do understand it's an exterior deck, and therefore it doesn't have to look like your kitchen floor.
Sure.
As far as the opportunities to get involved in this, we have many opportunities across North America, as a matter of fact, for people to become trained DuraDeck dealers or installers. And in most areas, we also have existing DuraDeck dealers.
Sure. And if people wanted to find a DuraDeck dealer, they can go to the website, I'm sure, and check that out there.
Absolutely. You can go to the website and check out pictorials on the different systems that we have. You'll find something that might look exactly like your backyard or your back deck, and you'll see what it looks like with DuraDeck on it. Yes, all that information is available on our website, which is www.DuraDeck, which is spelled DuraDeck.com.
Sounds great, Kevin. One more question, and then I'll let you get back to it today. The durability. Now, when a person's got it on the deck and you have children dropping things, how does it respond to getting toys dropped on it, and maybe even things bigger than toys from children once in a while?
Yes. Well, it's very resilient. It has a 10-year warranty. Realistically, its life cycle is anywhere from 15 to 25 years. If it was on the north side of the building where it wasn't exposed to UVs, all its life, it could be there possibly forever. As far as it withstanding children, barbecues, lawn furniture, fridges, all that sort of stuff, it has absolutely no issues with any of that. It won't mar. If a lady's wearing stiletto heels or anything like that, you can walk across it. You don't leave dents in it at all.
Oh, so very nice.
It's very resilient to family life, to exterior living.
Kevin, one more time with the website. Give us that one more time.
Is www.DuraDeck.com.
Very good. Thank you very much for your time today, Kevin.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it.
This is John Young with the Weekend Handyman.